First up, the 1957 D wheat penny might seem like just another old coin. But for collectors, even common pennies can hold value when examined closely. In this video, we're going to explore the history, design, minting, and current market value of the 1957 wheat penny with the D mint mark, especially in good condition. Whether you're just getting into coin collecting or you've come across this coin in a collection or pocket change, this video will help you understand its significance and worth in today's market. The 1957 D wheat penny is part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which ran from 1909 until 1958. The D mint mark on the coin indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint. During this period, the United States was producing large numbers of 1-cent coins, and the Denver Mint was one of the major facilities contributing to that output. In 1957 alone, the Denver Mint produced a total of more than 1 billion wheat pennies specifically, over 1.05 billion. That high mintage means the 1957 D penny is not considered rare. In fact, it is one of the more common wheat pennies out there. Because of this, it typically doesn't command high prices unless it's in exceptional condition or has a unique error. On the obverse, or front of the coin, you'll find the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This portrait has been used on the penny since 1909 and remains on the coin today, though with various updates over the years. Above Lincoln's head is the motto, "In God We Trust," with liberty to the left and the date, 1957, to the right. Just below the date, you'll see the small D mint mark indicating the Denver Mint. On the reverse side is the iconic wheat design, which gives the coin its nickname, the wheat penny. This side was also designed by Brenner and features two stylized wheat stalks along the edges. Between them is the denomination 1 cent, and above that, the words United States of America. At the top of the reverse side is the motto E pluribus unum, which translates to out of many. One, because this coin was produced in such large numbers. Most examples found in circulation are not especially valuable. In average circulated condition, what collectors refer to as good or fine condition, the 1957 D penny is worth about 3 to 10 cents. That's slightly more than its face value, but not by much. However, coins in better condition can be worth more. If you find a 1957 D wheat penny in extremely fine condition, meaning it has only minimal wear and retains much of its original detail, it could be worth between 25 cents and $1. In uncirculated or mint state condition, where the coin has never been used in everyday commerce and has retained its original luster, values can rise significantly. A 1957 D penny in MS-63 condition, for example, might be worth $2 to $5. Higher grades, such as MS-65 or MS-66, can fetch between $10 and $20 or more, depending on the quality and the market. Some of the most valuable 1957 D wheat pennies are those that have been graded MS-67 or higher by professional grading services, like PCGS or NGC. These coins are extremely well preserved and show almost no signs of wear. Because they are much rarer in such high grades, collectors are willing to pay a premium for them. A certified MS-67 1957 D wheat penny can sometimes sell for $50 or more, and in rare cases, even cross the $100 mark if the coin is especially attractive with strong eye appeal. It's also worth mentioning that certain error coins from 1957 D can be significantly more valuable. Errors such as double-die obverses, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes can command high prices, depending on their severity and rarity. Some error pennies from 1957 D have sold for hundreds of dollars. So if you think you found an error coin, it might be worth having it examined by a professional. In general, the key factors that determine a coin's value are its condition, rarity, and demand among collectors. The 1957 D wheat penny is not rare, but it still holds a place of interest for collectors, especially those trying to complete a full set of Lincoln wheat cents. If you have a 1957D penny in your possession, take a close look at it. Consider its color, level of detail, and whether it has any unusual markings. If it appears to be in excellent shape or has a possible error, it might be worth getting it professionally graded. Otherwise, it still makes for a great addition to a beginner's collection or as a piece of American history. To sum up, the 1957D wheat penny is a common coin, but its value can range from just a few cents to several dollars depending on its condition. In the current market, a typical 1957D penny in good circulated condition is worth about 3 to 10 cents. Uncirculated examples can be worth several dollars, and high-grade or error coins can be worth significantly more. Next up, the 1950S penny holds a special place for collectors. While it might not be the rarest or most expensive coin in the series, it's still a piece that garners interest, particularly because of its age and historical context. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the 1950 wheat penny minted in San Francisco, what makes it worth collecting, and what its value is today, especially if you have one in a typical circulated or dirty condition. Let's begin with some background. The Lincoln wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It remained in production with the wheat reverse design until 1958, when the reverse was changed to the Lincoln Memorial. That means the 1950 penny falls within the later years of the wheat centy series. The San Francisco Mint produced over 118 million wheat pennies in 1950. That's not a particularly low mintage, especially when compared to earlier coins like the 1909S or 1931S. So right away, we know that the 1950S penny is not a rare coin in terms of how many were made. However, that doesn't mean it has no value, especially if you consider the growing interest in coin collecting and how few of these coins remain in good shape today. Most of the 1950 SC pennies that exist now are found in circulated condition. That means they were used in everyday transactions, passed through countless hands, and over time picked up dirt, wear, and other signs of age. This is what people often refer to when they say a coin is in dirty or normal used condition. These coins typically show flattening on Lincoln's face and hair, loss of detail in the wheat stalks on the reverse, and general discoloration or oxidation. So, what is a 1950S wheat penny in this kind of circulated condition worth in today's market? On average, if you find a 1950S penny that has been clearly circulated, with visible wear and signs of age, but with a readable date and mint mark, its value typically ranges between 5 cents and 25 cents. Most often, you'll see these coins priced around 10 to 15 cents if they are moderately worn and dirty but still intact. Coins in the lowest grades, what collectors call good condition, might bring only a nickel. Coins in better circulated condition, like fine or very fine, might edge closer to a quarter. It's important to understand that these values reflect the market for average circulated coins. There's no precious metal in the penny. It's made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. So while it does have some copper value, it's very minimal. What gives the coin value is mostly its collectability and its age. The 1950S is also a common date among wheat pennies. Because so many were minted, and because people began to realize that wheat pennies might one day be collectible, many of these coins were saved in rolls and bags. As a result, even though the coin is 75 years old, there are still many examples in both circulated and uncirculated condition. That supply keeps the value relatively modest. Still, even a coin worth 10 or 15 cents is worth more than face value. And if you have multiple 1950S pennies lying around in change jars, old drawers, or inherited collections, it might be worth going through them. You never know, you might have a few that are in better than average condition. Now, what about higher grades? While this video focuses on dirty or circulated examples, It's worth briefly noting that a 1950s penny in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially those graded MS-65 or better, can sell for several dollars, sometimes even over $10, depending on color and quality. But again, most coins found in the wild are nowhere near that level. The vast majority are in worn, circulated shape. Another point to remember is that cleaning a coin to try and make it look better can actually lower its value. Collectors prefer coins in original, untouched condition, even if they're dirty. A cleaned coin often shows scratch marks, an unnatural shine, or chemical damage, which makes it far less appealing to serious buyers. If you have a dirty 1950s penny, it's best to leave it as is. A little dirt doesn't hurt the value. In fact, it's expected. There are no major known errors for the 1950s wheat penny that would dramatically raise its value, but it's always good to check. Look for doubled dies, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks, though these are uncommon. If you think you have something unusual, it could be worth taking to a coin dealer for a closer look. In summary, the 1950s wheat penny is not rare, but it is collectible. In today's market, a dirty or circulated example typically brings anywhere from 5 cents to 25 cents. While that might not seem like much, it's still more than face value, and if you have a number of them, it can add up. Plus, it's a great starting point for anyone getting into coin collecting. The Lincoln Wheat series is rich in history, and every coin tells a story of America's past. So, if you come across a 1950s wheat penny in a drawer, a jar, or your pocket change, don't toss it aside. It might be a small piece of copper, but it also represents a piece of American heritage and a collectible that continues to hold its place in the world of numismatics. Next up, the 1939 wheat penny without a mint mark is a coin that many collectors are familiar with, especially those interested in early 20th century U.S. coinage. While it is not considered rare overall, certain aspects, including its condition and historical context, give it value in the world of numismatics. In this video, we'll take a closer look at this specific coin, including its design, production background, grading details, and, most importantly, what a 1939 wheat penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition is worth in today's market. The 1939 wheat penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series. First introduced in 1909, these pennies are often referred to as wheat pennies because of the two wheat stalks on the reverse side of the coin, which were used in the design until 1958. The wheat design was created by Victor David Brenner, whose initials, VDB, appear subtly on many issues. The coin features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the first time a real person was featured on a U.S. circulating coin. In 1939, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 316 million wheat pennies. Unlike coins minted in Denver or San Francisco, Philadelphia coins do not carry a mint mark. That's why this version of the 1939 penny is simply known as the no mint mark variety. Due to its high mintage, the coin is generally easy to find in circulated condition. However, when it comes to higher grades, particularly coins that have survived in extra fine condition or better, the number of surviving examples drops significantly. That is where collectors start to pay closer attention. Let's take a moment to understand what extra fine means when evaluating a coin's condition. Coin grading is the process of determining how much wear a coin has sustained since it was struck. Grades range from poor, which is barely identifiable, to mint state, which means the coin shows no wear and retains its original mint luster. Extra fine, often abbreviated as XF or EF, refers to a coin that shows light wear only on the highest points of the design. In an XF 1939 wheat penny, most of Lincoln's hairlines, cheekbone, and jaw will be clearly visible. On the reverse, the lines and kernels of the wheat stalks should still be mostly sharp, with only minimal flattening at the tops. Coins in extra fine condition are considered desirable by many collectors because they strike a balance between affordability and quality. These coins retain much of their original detail, offering a strong visual appeal without reaching the higher costs associated with mint state examples. So, how much is a 1939 wheat penny with no mint mark worth in extra fine condition today? Based on current market trends and pricing guides, this coin typically sells for around 75 cents to $1 in extra fine condition. That value reflects its relative availability in circulated grades and its age, which adds historical interest for collectors. While that may not seem like a large amount, it's still several times the coin's original face value and makes it a worthwhile find, especially if it has been preserved well. However, the coin's value can go higher depending on the specific condition within the extra fine range. A coin graded XF45 will usually command a higher price than one graded XF40 due to slightly better detail and eye appeal. Additionally, coins with nice original color, fewer contact marks, and even toning are generally more attractive to collectors and can fetch a premium. In the same way, if the coin has been cleaned, damaged, or artificially altered, its value can decrease significantly, even if it technically meets the criteria for extra fine wear. It's also important to compare this coin to its counterparts from other mints in the same year. In 1939, pennies were also produced in Denver and San Francisco. The Denver minted penny has a D mint mark and had a mintage of just under 16 million coins, while the San Francisco Mint struck around 52 million pennies. Although the Philadelphia coin had the highest mintage, it is still collectible, especially in grades above very fine. Beyond standard issues, collectors are also on the lookout for varieties and errors. While no major doubled dies or other significant varieties are officially recognized for the 1939 no mint mark penny, minor die breaks, off-center strikes, and repunched dates can occasionally be found. These types of errors, if dramatic and in decent condition, can significantly increase the coin's value, sometimes bringing in several dollars or even more. However, these are not common and should be authenticated by a reputable coin grading service if discovered. As always, coin values are influenced by the market, which can change over time. The popularity of Lincoln Cents as a collectible series continues to support stable values for coins like the 1939 no mint mark penny. Many collectors try to complete full sets of Lincoln wheat pennies by date and mint mark, and that keeps demand steady even for more common dates. Coins in extra fine or better condition are particularly attractive to these collectors, which helps maintain their value in the current market. In conclusion, the 1939 wheat penny without a mint mark is a common coin in lower grades, but still holds solid collectible value when found in extra fine condition. In today's market, its value generally ranges between 75 cents and $1. While it may not be the most valuable wheat penny out there, it remains a desirable piece of American coinage history. Its iconic design, historical context, and place within the broader Lincoln Cent collection ensure that it will remain relevant among numismatists for years to come. Next up, the 1948 wheat penny with no mint mark. We'll explore its background, what makes it collectible, and how much it's worth today in good, circulated condition. The 1948 wheat penny comes from the post-World War II era, a time when the United States was going through significant social and economic change. The Lincoln Cent was already a familiar coin to Americans by then, having been first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the wheat penny remained in production until 1958, when the reverse design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial. In 1948, the Philadelphia Mint struck more than 317 million Lincoln wheat pennies. Because the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark on cents at the time, the coin has no letter under the date. That means the 1948 penny without a mint mark was made in Philadelphia, and with a mintage that high, it's not considered rare. However, age, historical context, and condition still make it an interesting coin to collect. Now, when we talk about a coin's condition, we're usually referring to its grade. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state, with various stops in between, such as good, fine, very fine, and extremely fine. In this video, we're focusing specifically on coins in good condition. This means the coin has been in circulation and shows noticeable wear. Lincoln's face and jacket will still be visible but lack sharp detail. The wheat ears on the reverse will also show heavy wear, and parts of the design might be flat or faded. So, how much is a 1948 wheat penny without a mint mark worth in good condition in today's market? Generally speaking, a circulated 1948 penny in good condition is worth around 3 to 5 cents. While that may not sound like much, it's still more than face value. The coin is made primarily of copper, about 95%, which does give it a small amount of intrinsic value. But in truth, the copper content is not what drives its price. What really matters to collectors is the coin's historical significance, age, and condition. A lot of people come across these coins in old jars, drawers, or inherited collections, and wonder if they've struck gold. The answer depends on a few things. In the case of the 1948 penny with no mint mark, you're unlikely to have a high-value coin unless it's in uncirculated or mint condition. Still, even a low-value coin has its place in a collection, especially for those trying to assemble a complete set of Lincoln wheat pennies from every year and mint. Let's talk briefly about the difference condition can make. While a 1948 penny in good condition might only bring 3 to 5 cents, the same coin in uncirculated condition, what collectors refer to as mint state, could be worth $1 to $5 or more. If it has strong luster and no damage, the value can go even higher, particularly if graded by a professional service. But in most cases, people are looking at well-worn examples. These are coins that have been used for years, picked up dirt, gone through pockets, cash registers, and banks, and are now a little piece of history. These coins might not have high monetary value, but they're still worth saving, especially for beginners who want to learn the basics of collecting without spending much money. It's also important to mention that coin cleaning is not recommended. Many people think cleaning a coin will make it look better and therefore more valuable. But collectors actually prefer coins in original, untouched condition, even if they're dirty or worn. Cleaning a coin can scratch the surface, remove natural toning, or leave behind residue, all of which can reduce the coin's value. If you find a 1948 penny that looks dirty, leave it as is. It's better to preserve its originality than to risk damaging it with cleaning products or abrasives. While there are no widely known mint errors for the 1948 no mint mark penny that would dramatically increase its value, collectors still keep an eye out for minor variations, such as die cracks or off-center strikes. These kinds of errors, if confirmed, can bring in extra value depending on their severity and visibility. If you think you have an unusual coin, it may be worth getting it looked at by a local coin dealer or submitting it for professional grading. So, is a 1948 penny without a mint mark in good condition worth keeping? The answer is yes, especially if you're building a set of wheat pennies or simply enjoy collecting coins from different decades. While its market value may be low, usually just a few cents, it has more than just monetary worth. It's a piece of American history from the post-war era, and every coin tells a story. Plus, older coins like this are slowly disappearing from circulation, so even common dates are becoming harder to find as time goes on. If you're lucky enough to have a bunch of 1948 pennies stored away, they may not make you rich, but they could form the foundation of a fun and educational collection. And who knows? Going through them might even spark an interest in coin collecting that lasts a lifetime. Next up, the 1954 wheat penny is one of those coins that many people still find in old jars, coin rolls, or even in pocket change. While it's not the rarest coin in the wheat penny series, it's still a piece of American history, and can hold some value depending on its condition. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the 1954 wheat penny, its background, design, minting information, and most importantly, what it's worth today in normal circulated condition with typical wear, also referred to as normal damage by casual collectors. The 1954 penny is part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. These coins feature a portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and two wheat stalks on the back, hence the nickname Wheat Penny. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the wheat cent became one of the most iconic and widely collected coin types in American numismatics. Let's start by looking at the coin's mint mark. The S on the 1954 wheat penny stands for the San Francisco Mint, which was one of the 3 U.S. mints producing pennies at that time, along with the Philadelphia and Denver mints. In 1954, the San Francisco Mint struck approximately 96.2 million 1-cent coins. While this is not a particularly low mintage number, it's lower than the Philadelphia and Denver issues of that year, giving the 1954 a slight edge in collectability over its counterparts. From a design perspective, the coin features Lincoln's profile on the obverse, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" along the top edge, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1954 to the right, followed by the small S mint mark just below the date. The reverse shows the denomination 1 cent in large letters at the center, with United States of America underneath. The words "A pluribus unum" curve across the top, and 2 stylized wheat stalks flank the design on either side. Now, let's talk about condition, which plays a major role in determining a coin's value. When we refer to a coin in normal damage condition, we are typically talking about circulated coins that show moderate to heavy wear. These coins have been used in everyday transactions and have likely lost much of their original mint luster. Edges may be worn down, details in Lincoln's hair and coat may be faint, and the wheat stalks on the back may appear smooth or flat in places. While these coins still retain their original design, the signs of handling and age are visible throughout. This level of condition corresponds roughly to what numismatists would call good to very fine grades, depending on how much detail remains. It's worth noting that normal circulation wear is expected for a coin that is over 70 years old. However, because wheat pennies were minted in large numbers, condition has a strong influence on value. A heavily worn coin is usually less valuable than one in crisp, uncirculated condition at present. A 1954 penny in typical circulated condition, showing average wear, no mint luster, and no major errors, is worth between 5 and 15 cents. While that may not sound like much, it's still 5 to 15 times the coin's original face value. The exact value depends on the specific condition of the coin. A well-worn example may bring closer to 5 cents, while a slightly better-looking circulated coin with clear details and minimal surface issues could go for 10 to 15 cents. Coins that have been damaged beyond normal circulation, such as those with deep scratches, heavy corrosion, or signs of cleaning, may not hold much collector value at all and often trade only for face value or slightly above. On the other hand, if you happen to find a 1954 penny with only light wear or with unusually attractive color and eye appeal, you might see slightly higher prices from interested buyers or dealers. Of course, higher-grade coins are worth more. A 1954 wheat penny in extra fine, XF condition might be worth around 50 cents to $1, while uncirculated examples can be valued at $1.50 to $5 or more, depending on their quality. Coins that have been professionally graded and received a high mint state grade from a grading service like PCGS or NGC can bring in $10 to $30 or more, especially if they have strong luster and sharp strike details. One thing to look out for is errors. While the 1954 is not known for any widely recognized major errors, Small mint errors do exist. These include die cracks, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks. If you suspect your coin may have an unusual feature, it could be worth a closer look by an expert. A genuine and dramatic mint error can boost a coin's value significantly, sometimes into the hundreds of dollars, but these are rare. In the end, the 1954 wheat penny in normal, circulated condition holds modest value in today's market. It's not considered a rare coin, but it still has appeal for collectors looking to complete a set of Lincoln wheat cents by date and mint mark. These coins also serve as great historical pieces, offering a tangible connection to American life and currency from the mid-20th century. If you have a 1954 penny and it's in average circulated condition, it's likely worth around 5 to 15 cents. While it might not make you rich, it's still a collectible item, and keeping it in a coin holder or album can help preserve its value over time. For those who enjoy coin collecting as a hobby, even common coins like the 1954 have their place in a well-rounded collection. Next up, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark. While it's a common date in the Lincoln cent series, many people still wonder whether it has any real value, especially if the coin is in poor condition. So today, we're focusing specifically on the value of a 1944 wheat penny that's not only heavily circulated, but also extra dirty and possibly damaged. We'll look at what affects its value, what collectors look for, and what you can realistically expect if you find one in your possession today. Let's start with the basics. The Lincoln wheat penny was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, and it became one of the most iconic coins in American coinage history. The wheat reverse design remained in place until 1958, when it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. The 1944 penny was struck during a pivotal time in American history. World War II was nearing its end, and the U.S. Mint resumed the use of copper for penny production after experimenting with steel cents in 1943. The steel cents from the previous year were designed to save copper for the war effort. But in 1944, copper was brought back into circulation. Interestingly, much of the copper used in 1944 cents came from recycled wartime shell casings. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 1.4 billion Lincoln cents in 1944, which makes the 1944 penny without a mint mark one of the most common coins in the entire wheat penny series. Because of this extremely high mintage, the coin is not considered rare by any standard. Even today, millions of these coins exist in circulation, coin collections, and old change jars. Now let's address the condition. If your 1944 wheat penny is extra dirty and damaged, it's likely been through many decades of circulation and exposure to wear, moisture, handling, and environmental conditions. These coins typically show significant surface wear, faded or flattened details, and often exhibit stains, corrosion, scratches, or even nicks and gouges. Sometimes the damage may include bent edges, holes, or chemical discoloration. In coin grading terms, these would fall into the low-grade category, often below good, G4, or even at the poor level. So, the big question is, what is a 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark worth today in extra dirty and damaged condition? In today's market, the value of this coin in that kind of condition is typically 1 to 2 cents. In many cases, it's worth no more than face value. Dealers generally do not buy coins in this condition individually, and collectors looking to complete a wheat cent collection will usually seek coins in at least decent or collectible condition. Severely damaged or heavily worn examples have little to no collector demand unless they have a rare mint error or unusual feature. While copper does have some intrinsic value, the copper in a single penny is worth only about 2 to 3 cents, depending on market prices. However, it is illegal to melt US 1-cent coins for their metal content, so this doesn't provide any real opportunity to profit from scrap value. The only way a 1944 penny becomes valuable is through its collectability, and damaged coins generally fall short in that area. Now, some viewers might wonder if they should try cleaning a dirty or stained coin to improve its appearance. The simple answer is no. Cleaning a coin almost always reduces its value, not increases it. Even when a coin is already in poor shape, cleaning can make things worse by scratching the surface, removing natural toning, or leaving residue behind. Collectors prefer coins that are in original, unaltered condition, even if they are worn or dirty. So if you have a 1944 penny that's extra dirty or damaged, the best thing to do is leave it as is. It's also worth noting that the vast majority of 1944 wheat pennies are copper, but there are a few extremely rare examples that were accidentally struck in steel. These are not marked differently, but they will appear grayish in color and will stick to a magnet. If you happen to have a 1944 penny that looks silver or gray and is magnetic, it could be one of the rare error coins. In that case, it would be worth significantly more, potentially thousands of dollars. But keep in mind that these are extremely rare and unlikely to be found in damaged condition. If your 1944 penny is damaged but still looks like a typical copper coin, then its value remains in the 1 to 2 cent range. In bulk, some coin dealers or collectors might purchase large quantities of damaged wheat pennies for a small premium, often by the pound. But individual examples in poor condition generally don't sell for much. Despite the low value, the 1944 wheat penny remains a piece of American history. For many people, finding one is their first step into coin collecting. While your heavily circulated or damaged coin may not be worth selling, it still has educational and sentimental value. It's a tangible connection to the past, a coin that may have passed through hundreds of hands over 80 years. In summary, the 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark is a very common coin. When it's in extra dirty and damaged condition, it typically holds a value of just 1 to 2 cents in today's market. There's no real collectible demand for coins in that condition, and it's unlikely to increase in value over time unless it has a rare error. However, it remains a meaningful part of American coinage and is still worth keeping if you enjoy the history behind it. Next up, the 1953 D wheat penny is a coin that often appears in old collections, junk drawers, and coin rolls. While not rare, it still carries historical interest and collector value depending on its condition. In this video, we'll look at the 1953 D wheat penny, with a focus on coins found in full dirty condition. Those that have seen extended circulation, show significant wear, and have developed surface discoloration or grime. We'll explore the history, design, minting details, and most importantly, the value of this coin in today's market. The 1953 D wheat penny is part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which was produced from 1909 to 1958. These coins feature President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and the reverse is designed with 2 wheat stalks flanking the words 1 cent. The wheat reverse design was created by Victor David Brenner and was used for nearly 50 years, becoming one of the most recognized and collected coin designs in the United States. The D mint mark on the 1953 D penny indicates that it was produced at the Denver Mint. In that year, the Denver Mint struck more than 700 million Lincoln Wheat Cents. That high mintage means the coin is relatively common, especially in circulated condition. As a result, the coin's market value is generally modest, unless it is in exceptional condition or features a rare error. Now, let's define what we mean by full dirty condition. In collector terms, this refers to a coin that is heavily worn, likely discolored from age, handling, or exposure to the elements, and with no remaining mint luster. These coins often appear brown, dark gray, or even have surface grime or spotting. While such a coin may still be easily identifiable, Most fine design details will be worn down. Lincoln's hair and jawline may be smooth, and the wheat stalks on the reverse may be flat or partially faded. In official coin grading terms, this would likely fall into the good to very good category, possibly even lower depending on the extent of damage or corrosion. Because of the sheer number of 1953 pennies minted, coins in full dirty condition are extremely common and are often considered low-end collectibles. Still, they hold more value than face value due to the historical appeal of wheat pennies and the interest among collectors trying to complete full sets by date and mint mark in today's market. A 1953 penny in this heavily circulated state is typically valued at around 3 to 5 cents. This value is based on the coin's age and collectability rather than its metal content, as the penny is primarily made of copper and contains no precious metals. While not valuable in monetary terms, these coins can be interesting to newer collectors or those assembling budget-friendly Lincoln cent collections. Some coin dealers may offer these coins in bulk, often priced by the roll or by weight. For example, a roll of 50 circulated wheat pennies might be sold for a few dollars, making the individual value of each coin just a few cents. On resale platforms or coin shows, sellers often group lower-grade wheat cents together for this reason. A single 1953 penny in full dirty condition, unless it has an error or some unique trait, will generally not attract premium offers from collectors or dealers. Of course, it's worth noting that higher-grade examples of the same coin can be much more valuable. A 1953 penny in extra-fine condition with clear detail and light wear might be worth 25 to 50 cents. In uncirculated or mint-state condition, where the coin shows no wear and still displays its original red color and shine, the value can rise significantly. A well-preserved 1953 penny, graded MS-65 or higher, can be worth $5 to $15, and in very high grades with strong color and strike quality, prices can reach $25 or more, especially if certified by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. There are also rare error coins from 1953 that occasionally surface. These include repunched mint marks, die cracks, or off-center strikes. If a dirty 1953 penny shows unusual markings or misaligned features, it could be an error coin. Even in circulated condition, certain errors can push a coin's value up significantly, sometimes to $50 or $100, depending on rarity and collector demand. However, most 1953 pennies do not fall into this category. For collectors who enjoy the historical aspect of coin collecting, even a worn and dirty wheat penny has value. These coins were in use during a unique period in American history, post-World War II, and during the early Cold War era. Each coin tells a story of the countless hands it passed through over decades. Many collectors enjoy preserving these coins as part of that history, even if their market value is low. In summary, the 1953 wheat penny in full dirty condition is a common coin with modest value. In today's market, expect it to be worth around 3 to 5 cents depending on its level of wear and overall appearance. While not rare or especially valuable, it remains a collectible piece of American history and a stepping stone for beginner collectors or those completing full sets of Lincoln wheat cents. If you have a 1953 penny in this condition, it's worth holding on to if you're building a full wheat cent collection, or it could be traded as part of a bulk group. Either way, it represents a small but meaningful piece of numismatic heritage. Next up, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark. This coin is commonly found, widely recognized, and often sparks curiosity from people who discover one in old jars, drawers, or inherited coin collections. Today, we'll explore the coin's background, discuss why some examples appear in a darker or black color shade, and explain what a 1944 wheat penny is worth in today's market when it's in that kind of condition. Let's begin with a bit of history. The Lincoln wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 and remained in production, with the wheat reverse design until 1958. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure, President Abraham Lincoln, on the obverse, and it quickly became one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. By 1944, the United States was still involved in World War II, though the war was beginning to wind down. The previous year, in 1943, the U.S. Mint produced steel cents coated in zinc to conserve copper for the war effort. These 1943 steel cents were only made for 1 year. In 1944, copper returned to penny production, and the Mint used recycled ammunition shell casings to strike these coins, giving the 1944 cent a slightly different composition than pre-war issues. The 1944 wheat penny, without a mint mark, was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That year, Philadelphia produced over 1.4 billion pennies, making it one of the highest mintage U.S. coins ever produced. Because of that, the 1944 no mint mark wheat penny is not rare. However, condition, color, and specific collector demand can still influence its value. Now let's talk about color, specifically the black or dark-toned shade that many of these coins develop over time. A normal copper penny should appear reddish-brown or deep brown depending on its condition and how it has been stored. When a penny turns black or very dark brown, it usually means the coin has undergone natural oxidation, chemical exposure, or environmental aging. This can happen when the coin has been stored in humid areas, exposed to water, buried in soil, or handled frequently over time. It doesn't necessarily mean the coin is damaged beyond recognition, but it does indicate heavy circulation or environmental effects. In coin grading, color is one of several factors that determine a coin's market value. Collectors often look for coins with original color and minimal wear. Red, lustrous, uncirculated coins are the most desirable. Brown coins are still collectible, depending on condition. But when a coin turns very dark or black, it usually lowers its market appeal, unless the coin is rare or has a known error. So what is a 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark worth today if it's in a normal black or very dark condition? In today's market, a circulated 1944 wheat penny with a black tone and average wear is generally worth 2 to 4 cents. While that's not a significant amount, it is still more than face value. A dark tone alone doesn't make the coin rare or especially valuable, but it doesn't make it worthless either. Collectors who are just starting out, or those building affordable sets, often buy coins in this condition to fill gaps in their collections. If your coin is structurally sound, with readable date and details, no holes, and no major corrosion, then it can still be traded or sold in bulk with other similar wheat pennies. Coin dealers sometimes buy wheat cents by the roll or by the pound, and darker coins are usually included in those lots. However, most individual coins in dark condition are not resold one by one unless there is something unique about them. It's worth noting that color alone won't make a 1944 penny valuable. What would make it valuable is if it were one of the rare 1944 steel cents, which are known errors. These are not copper at all. They appear silver gray and will stick to a magnet. If you happen to have a 1944 penny that looks dark but is magnetic, it's worth a closer look, because authentic 1944 steel cents have sold for thousands of dollars. But those are extremely rare, and most 1944 pennies are standard copper. Many people also wonder whether cleaning a dark penny will increase its value. The short answer is no. Cleaning a coin almost always reduces its value, even if the coin looks better afterward. Scratches, unnatural shine, and surface damage caused by cleaning are easily noticeable to experienced collectors. It's best to leave your coin in its natural state, even if it appears darker than normal. So, to sum it up, a 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark in normal black or dark brown color, with average circulation wear, is generally worth between 2 and 4 cents in today's market. That value can go slightly higher if the coin is in better shape, but color and heavy circulation do limit its desirability among serious collectors. Still, it's a fascinating piece of American history, struck at the end of World War II and made from recycled wartime materials. Even though these coins are common and often not worth much individually, they are still important for collectors, especially those who enjoy building complete sets of Lincoln wheat cents. The darker color tells a story of time and circulation, and adds a level of authenticity that some collectors appreciate. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more coin collecting content. See you, and next time, happy collecting. Next up, the 1955 D Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most recognized and widely collected coins in the wheat cent series. Not because it is rare, but because it comes from a period when coin collecting was gaining popularity in the United States. While most 1955 D pennies are common, their value can still increase depending on condition. In this video, we'll focus specifically on the 1955 wheat penny with the D mint mark, and we'll look at how much it's worth today in extra fine condition. The Lincoln wheat penny was first minted in 1909 and continued through 1958, featuring the iconic reverse design with two wheat stalks. It was created to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and marked the first time a U.S. president was featured on a circulating coin. The designer was Victor David Brenner, whose initials appear subtly on the coin. The 1955 D penny was produced at the Denver Mint, which is what the D under the date stands for. In 1955, the Denver Mint struck more than 563 million Lincoln wheat cents, making it the highest producing mint for this denomination that year. That high mintage means that the 1955 D penny is not considered rare in general. However, the condition of the coin plays a major role in determining how much it's worth today. When collectors assess the value of a coin, they rely heavily on its grade. Grades range from poor, which indicates a nearly unidentifiable coin, to mint state, which means the coin shows no signs of circulation. Extra fine, abbreviated XF or EF, sits in the higher end of circulated coins. A coin in extra fine condition shows light wear only on the highest points, with most details still sharp and clearly visible. For the 1955 D penny, this means Lincoln's hairlines, jawline, and coat will still display detail. On the reverse, the wheat stalks should be clearly defined with only minimal flattening at the tips based on current coin market trends and pricing data from online dealers, coin shows, and collector marketplaces. A 1955 D penny in extra fine condition is generally worth between 25 cents and 50 cents. This is significantly above its face value, and while not rare, it still reflects collector demand for well-preserved examples from the wheat penny era. The exact value within that range depends on eye appeal. A coin with even color, no corrosion, and strong remaining detail will usually command the higher end of the range. On the other hand, if the coin has spotting, environmental damage, or cleaning marks, the value may be lower, even if it still technically qualifies as extra fine. It's also important to note that higher grades can bring significantly more value. A 1955 D penny in about uncirculated condition can sell for $1 to $2, and those in mint state condition, especially with full red color, can range from $5 to over $20, depending on the specific grade and whether it has been certified by a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now, when most people think of 1955 wheat pennies, they immediately think of the famous 1955 doubled die penny. That variety is extremely rare and valuable, with prices ranging from several $100s in lower grades to thousands in high grades. However, it's important to note that the doubled die only occurred on the Philadelphia minted coins and not on the Denver minted 1955 D pennies. So if your 1955 penny has a D mint mark, it is not the famous doubled die variety. Still, there are some minor varieties and errors that can occur on the 1955D wheat penny. These include repunched mint marks, known as RPMs, die cracks, off-center strikes, and other minor minting anomalies. Some of these can raise the value of a coin, even in circulated condition. A repunched mint mark, for example, might increase the value by a few dollars if it's a well-recognized and dramatic example. To determine if your coin has one of these varieties, you'll need to examine it under magnification or consult a coin expert. Another factor that affects a coin's value is demand from collectors. Many coin collectors aim to complete sets of Lincoln wheat pennies by year and mint mark. For this reason, even common coins like the 1955D in extra fine condition maintain steady market interest. It's also a great coin for beginner collectors because it's affordable but still part of a historic series. If you're looking to sell a 1955D wheat penny in extra fine condition, your best options are local coin shops, coin shows, online marketplaces like eBay, or collector forums. Keep in mind that selling one coin at a time may not yield as much as selling a group or collection, and buyers often pay more for coins that are well photographed, accurately described, and, if possible, certified by a reputable grading service. If you're keeping it as part of your personal collection, it's worth storing it in a 2x2 cardboard holder, a coin flip, or a coin album to protect it from further wear and environmental damage. Although its value is modest now, coins like this can increase in value over the long term, especially as high-grade examples become scarcer over time. To summarize, the 1955D wheat penny is a common but historically significant coin. In extra fine condition, it is worth about 25 to 50 cents in today's market. While it doesn't have the value of some rare varieties, it's still an attractive addition to any Lincoln cent collection and holds more than just monetary value. It's a piece of American history that reflects a time of growing prosperity and national pride during the post-war period. Next up, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is one of the most commonly found coins in old collections, coin jars, and circulation. While many people hope that any coin from the 1940s is rare or extremely valuable, the truth depends largely on condition, mint location, and whether there are any unique characteristics or errors. In this video, we're going to focus specifically on the 1944 wheat penny produced in Philadelphia, the one with no mint mark, and what it's worth today in dirty and damaged condition, which is how most of these coins are found. The 1944 wheat penny was minted during a time when the United States was still deeply involved in World War II. Just a year earlier, in 1943, pennies were struck using zinc-coated steel due to copper shortages. That year was the only time in U.S. history when circulating pennies were made of steel instead of copper. However, in 1944, the U.S. Mint returned to using copper for 1-cent coins, though much of the metal came from recycled shell casings from the war. The 1944 penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That year, Philadelphia produced over 1.4 billion wheat pennies, the highest mintage for any Lincoln cent up to that point. As a result, the 1944 no-mint mark penny is extremely common, especially in circulated condition. Millions of these coins remain in existence today, many of them stored away in coin folders or old boxes, still turning up in change even now. The design of the coin is the familiar Lincoln wheat cent design by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse side, you'll find Abraham Lincoln's profile facing right. Above his head is the phrase, "In God we trust." To the left is the word liberty, and to the right is the date 1944. Since it was minted in Philadelphia, there is no mint mark under the date. On the reverse side of the coin, there are two stylized wheat stalks, one on each side, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. The motto, E pluribus unum, runs along the top edge. Now, let's define what we mean by dirty and damaged condition. Many of the 1944 pennies found today have been through decades of use. A coin in dirty and damaged condition typically has heavy surface wear, may be discolored, corroded, or covered in grime, and might even have scratches, dents, or edge nicks. It could have been exposed to moisture, chemicals, or high temperatures, leading to spotting or pitting on the metal surface. In numismatic terms, such a coin falls into the good to about good category, and in some cases may not even reach collectible grade depending on the level of damage. Because the 1944 no mint mark wheat penny is so common, condition plays a major role in determining its value. In clean, uncirculated condition, this coin can be worth several dollars to collectors. But in dirty, heavily worn, or damaged condition, its value drops significantly. As of current market trends, a 1944 wheat penny in poor condition, with heavy wear, dirt, or damage, is typically worth between 2 and 5 cents. While this is still above face value, it's not considered a high-value collectible in this state. Coin dealers often buy or sell such coins in bulk, grouping them with other common wheat cents from the 1940s and 1950s, usually priced by the roll rather than individually. That being said, not all 1944 pennies are created equal. There are rare error coins from 1944 that are worth a significant amount, even in circulated or damaged condition. The most famous is the 1944 steel penny, a coin that was struck accidentally using leftover steel planchets from the previous year. Only a small number of these were produced, and they were never intended to be released. If you come across a 1944 penny that is silver or gray in color and sticks to a magnet, it may be one of these rare errors. Authentic 1944 steel cents can sell for thousands of dollars, even in worn condition. However, many of the so-called 1944 steel pennies found in circulation are simply 1943 steel cents with altered dates or 1944 copper pennies that have been coated or damaged to look silver. If your 1944 penny is heavily worn, dirty, or damaged, and it appears to be a normal copper version without any signs of unusual features or errors, then its value is likely in the low range. However, it still holds historical interest. Coins like these were used during an important time in American history. They traveled through thousands of hands, helped by food, goods, and newspapers during wartime, and now survive as small relics of the past. In conclusion, the 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark is one of the most common U.S. coins from the World War II era. When found in dirty and damaged condition, its value is generally between 2 and 5 cents in today's market. Unless it has a rare error, it is not considered a high-value item for collectors. However, it remains a meaningful coin, especially for those who appreciate history, and it often serves as a gateway into the hobby of coin collecting. Next up, the 1909 Lincoln Wheat Penny. This coin marked a significant milestone in American numismatics. It was the first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of a real person, Abraham Lincoln, on the obverse. Before 1909, U.S. coins typically carried allegorical figures or symbolic images. But the Lincoln cent, introduced in the 100th year after Lincoln's birth, changed that tradition permanently. The 1909 penny came in several varieties, and one of the most common is the version minted in Philadelphia, which has no mint mark. While it's not the rarest variant of the 1909 penny, it's still highly collectible and valuable, particularly because of its historical significance as the first year of the Lincoln cent series. Now, when we talk about coin values, it's important to understand how condition, rarity, and demand all play a role in pricing. Most coins are found in circulated condition, meaning they've been used in daily transactions over the years. These coins often show signs of wear, grime, or tarnish, sometimes referred to by collectors as being in dirty or normal circulated condition. These are the types of coins most people will encounter in an old jar, a family collection, or a flea market. So, how much is a 1909 wheat penny without a mint mark worth today if it's in a normal circulated condition? To answer that, we need to look at the market value for coins in what collectors call good to very fine condition. These are coins that show significant signs of wear but are still identifiable, with visible details and a readable date. The 1909 no mint mark wheat penny had a mintage of over 72 million pieces. That's a large number, which means the coin is not especially rare in circulated condition. However, the year 1909 is significant because it marked the beginning of a new era in coin design, and that always draws the attention of collectors. As of today, a 1909 wheat penny without a mint mark in average circulated condition typically sells for between $1 and $3. The lower end of that range is for coins in the most worn condition, where fine details are heavily faded and dirt or oxidation might be present. On the higher end, if the coin retains sharper features and less discoloration, it might approach $3 or slightly more. Keep in mind, these values can fluctuate based on collector demand, silver or copper prices, and overall market trends. The 1909 penny is made of 95% copper, which can give it a bit of intrinsic value, but that's not what drives its price. Its real value lies in its collectability, age, and historical context. Now, you may have heard stories about 1909 wheat pennies selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. While those stories are technically true, they usually refer to rare variants, like the 1909 SVDB penny. That version was minted in San Francisco and features the designer Victor David Brenner's initials on the reverse. Only around 484,000 of those coins were produced, making them extremely rare and highly valuable in any condition. But the 1909 Philadelphia penny without the VDB initials and without a mint mark is much more common, especially in circulated grades. That doesn't mean it's not worth keeping or collecting. Quite the opposite. Any 1909 penny is a piece of American history and a cornerstone for anyone trying to build a complete Lincoln cent collection. If you happen to have one of these coins in a collection or in a drawer somewhere, it's still worth examining closely. Even a small difference in condition can raise the value slightly. For instance, a coin with less grime, clearer lettering, or stronger details might bring in more than the average $2. Coins that are lightly circulated or have better eye appeal can sometimes be valued up to $5 or even $10, especially if a collector is looking for a clean example of the first-year issue. Another aspect to consider is how the coin is presented. If it's been cleaned improperly or scratched, it could lose value. Collectors generally prefer coins in their original, unaltered state, even if they're a bit dirty. Cleaning a coin might seem like a good idea, but it can damage the surface and reduce its worth. So if you find a 1909 wheat penny in a dirty condition, the best course of action is to leave it as it is and consult a coin dealer or grading service if you want a professional opinion. Also worth noting is that coin collecting continues to grow as a hobby, and that interest helps keep the market strong for coins like the 1909 penny. Prices might rise over time, especially as coins in decent condition become harder to find in circulation. So even though the value of a dirty, circulated 1909 wheat penny may seem modest today, between $1 and $3, it's still a collectible with long-term appeal. In conclusion, the 1909 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is not among the rarest coins out there, but its value goes beyond just money. It represents a key moment in U.S. coin history. It's the start of the most collected coin series in the world, and it still holds value even in the most common, worn condition. If you have one, it's a small piece of history. And in today's market, even a dirty or circulated example could be worth a couple of dollars or more.